What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode number 114 of Park to Prem here with Town or Town. Today, we've got a double header. 2 matches against Chelsea, one in the FA Cup semi-final, one in the league as well, which will be the second to last game of the league season. Yes, we really are getting towards crunch time. If you missed yesterday's uploads, and I say uploads plural, make sure to go check those out. It was a double upload day. We had 3 matches in the first episode and 2 matches in the second, so over an hour of Football Manager action to get your teeth into. And well, since you were here for that, we have played just one game. It was against Watford, and a cheeky little 5-2 win. Yes, Agent Smolyo in goal for them, doing us a little bit of a favour, I suppose. They actually took the lead in this game through Jake Wilson in the 13th minute, and at that point I was thinking, oh my word, it's going to be one of those days, isn't it? Of course it wasn't going to be. Svetsov replied within 2 minutes, and by half-time we were 3-1 up. A few tidy finishes for Svetsov, and also Leskinen, the Finnish centre-mid, getting involved in play. A tidy finish for him into the bottom corner. And in the second half, we came out and we continued to do our thing. 2 further goals through Dylan Turnbull and Svetsov. They got a late consolation. And 5-2 is how it finished. I feel like this game, a lot of the goals, as you're going to see, just coming from our long throws. I feel like our overall physical presence really has become a big strength of our team. We're quite a physical team. We're quite... it's weird, actually, because you often get teams who are quite rough and ready, and they'll not be great players of the ball, whereas I feel like for our team, we're very good at passing the ball around and knocking it around well, but also just physically on set pieces. We have a lot of really big players. We have just an abundance of aerial talent to make the most of set pieces, and that has been undeniably a huge factor behind our success this year. You can see, just looking at our strengths, we've got really good jumping reach, loads of prospects and other bits. It's kind of interesting. Stuff like dribbling, crossing, long shots off the ball, passing, all apparently weaknesses. If I'm not mistaken, that takes into account the entire team. So I feel like there's certain players that drag it down. When you just look at our starting 11, I don't feel like many of these would actually be considered weaknesses. I was having a quick look just before we came live at some team overview stats, or rather team detailed stats, just to have a look at stuff like set pieces. You can see stuff like goals from direct free kicks. We've not scored a direct free kick this year, but indirect free kicks, 6 goals in our favour. If we look at corners, can we look at corners? Goals from corners were really high there. I don't think there's goals from throw-ins, but if there were, we'd be quite good from those as well. We have committed 529 fouls, which is quite a lot more than anyone else around us, but it's all part of our kind of overly physical style. You know, we want to knock the ball around well, we want to keep hold of the ball when we can. At the same time, we're not afraid to get a bit dirty and master the dark arts, I suppose. You can see pass completion down in 14th, and if we just look at possession, where is possession? Open your eyes, Jack, find it. It's got to be here somewhere. It's definitely on this screen, Jack. You can do it. You've probably seen it by now and you're screaming at me. It's right at the top. Average possession, you can see we have more than 50%. It's weird, you know. This year it's difficult to exactly pinpoint where things have gone so well for us. I just feel like our defensive shape is really, really good. And everyone's kind of performing, you know, everyone's doing their bit. There's very few players who I would say are massively underperforming. Anyway, as I already said, we've got 2 games today. Today we're going to be starting off with the FA Cup semi-final against Chelsea, so that's something to look forward to. A trip to Wembley, no less. And after that, we're going to play the Swansea and Southampton games just off camera. And we're going to come back for the Chelsea game. Chelsea currently top of the league. If we lose that, it could all come down to the final game of the season, which, well, will be coming your way next episode if it has any meaning. And of course, if we can make it to the FA Cup final somehow, that too will be coming your way as part of a kind of final end of the season episode before the season review. But anyway, with all that said and done, let's have a quick peek at the league. Although it's not our immediate focus right now, you can see Liverpool have won a game that we have not played because we're in the FA Cup. As a result, they're 3 points ahead of us, and we're still very much hot on their heels. European football has not been fully guaranteed. If I'm not mistaken, this top 7 spot, I feel like the 7th and 6th place spots are sometimes swapped out if cup winners haven't already finished up high. I'm not entirely sure how it works with the new 3rd Europa League-esque competition going on. We'll take it as it comes. At the moment, I'm not overly concerned. We're quite comfortably where we are. There's only 4 games left of the season. We should be going very well. And well, today we're going to be kicking it off with this game in the FA Cup against Chelsea. It's a big game. They're top of the league. They're a very, very good team. Svetsov has got a little injury, although he's returning to full fitness immediately. So you know what? I'm going to risk him. Just looking across our team as a whole, everyone's pretty much at full fitness. There's nothing to be overly concerned about. And, well, it feels pretty good, to be honest. Andre, by the way, continuing to develop. I feel like I'm saying this every episode. I have to mention it. Look at this, his physical and his speed. They're almost into that bright green area where you start to think, world class. Keep going, Andre. You're nearly there, son. I mean, for a player we signed for £13 million, his development has been pretty nuts. Of course, he did have a perfectionist personality when he first joined us. It has changed slightly now to resolute. I have no doubt that and the regular first-team footballers had a massive kind of role in his development as a footballer. His passing and vision over the last 2 years have been absolutely insane. We've had him on the additional focus of passing for a little while. I have now switched it actually to final third, just because I would like his composure on the ball to be that little bit better. But it has been interesting just to watch the overall growth of the team over the course of our time here at the club in the last couple of years. Obviously, lots of fresh faces. Players like Soretta, who's going to get a start today. He's only been here for, well, half a season, almost a full season, I suppose, now. But he joined us in the summer. I mean, look at his development. Just across the board, really positive stuff. He's a perfectionist. He's 19. He's either-footed. If only he wasn't inconsistent, he'd be perfect. I'm a little bit concerned playing him alongside Douglas at centre-back. I feel like they're quite complementary to each other. Douglas is a bit more of a, intelligent footballer, but they both have inconsistency as a con, and there's just always that worry that they're both just going to not turn up one day. It does mean that with Soretta developing, Maggi is going to slip down a little bit. This has been, slowly but surely coming, but I do feel like it's necessary now. I will say, I do absolutely love Maggi, but with his lack of big matches, I'm just not... I don't feel comfortable playing him in the semi-final, basically, despite how consistent he is. I will say, we've got him locked here on a 6-year contract, 22 years old. He's a really, really good backup player. I do feel like, weirdly, if we were to get European football this year, or rather, when we get European football this year, our squad is already pretty well set up for it in terms of overall squad depth. I feel like we've got good players like Maggi who can step up and be counted. Just looking at the team as a whole, as I said, it's at full strength. Highland, I feel like, deserves a little nod because he's kind of been the little train that could. Is it the little train that could? It's the little something that could. I want to say it's train is the original expression. I don't know. But for a player we signed for less than £14 million, was sold by Sheffield United, who are, of course, in the Premier League with us. He's performed very well this year. He really has done his business. I feel like of all of our players, the centre defensive kind of deep line playmaker role is definitely the area where we probably are overdue an upgrade. Obviously, Leskinen can play as a deep line playmaker there. He has full familiarity. But if we just compare him and Highland, and this is the importance of actually comparing players rather than just looking at the circles. As far as deep line playmakers go, I feel like I would take Highland just about all the time. I know his mentals aren't quite as good, but I feel like his overall technical ability, free better first touch, free better passing, the same technique as well. I just prefer this stuff. Which is interesting, obviously. It is kind of subject to change, I guess, over time, because Leskinen is only 21, so he will improve. But yeah, I don't know. Leskinen, really good box-to-box midfielder, to be honest. He's like really well-rounded, despite his lack of long shots. With the instruction of shoot less, it becomes not as big of a problem. And if he was only consistent, he would be, that long-term solution, I feel like, at the centre-mid position. I guess the fact he can drop deeper is somewhat useful. Anyway, in the wing-back positions, we've got Ox and Lazarus. They've continued to do their thing this year. Lazarus, he was a very naughty boy to start the year. I will say he has been very well-behaved since Christmas. It's because he got coal in his stocking. Ox out on the left-hand side. He's kind of the well-behaved child in the classroom who doesn't really get acknowledged or get the attention because he's well-behaved and he just does what's expected of him. But he's been very, very solid in the left wing-back position. When we brought him in for £26 million as a championship club, that was a big, big outlay. 9 assists, 2 goals in 32 league games. That is pretty good if you ask me. Anyway, Schwetzler's been in really good form. Scored a hat-trick, of course, most recently. Had a really slow start to the year. We talked about it a bit last episode. We are becoming ever reliant on his goals, but he's got 9 goals in his last 5 games for us. We need a performance from him today in the FA Cup semi-final. Andre, show me what you are made of, please. And, well, let's get into this. I feel like I've delayed it for long enough, and it wasn't really intentionally delaying, but I just wanted to sit down and just tell you my thoughts on some of the players. I feel like sometimes that gets lost. It's easy for you to maybe watch the highlights between episodes of matches and kind of form your own opinions, but given the fact I'm watching the full matches, I kind of see the ins and outs, and, I sit here for far too many hours a day thinking about this team. Sometimes it's nice just to discuss some of the various thought points that have popped up in my mind. Anyway, I realise that I'm sat on the attacking system here. Part of me wants to go more defensive, but you know what? We've got a set piece. We've started well. Let's see how we get on. Leskinen hits it. Turnbull! How have you missed that rebound? Okay, he was offside. He was offside, but I would have been a little upset if he hadn't been. I'm just thinking, do I want to play the defensive system today? I didn't even really think about it, which is bizarre. It has worked quite well. You know what? I played the more attacking system against Man City when we beat them 1-0. I'm going to stick with the more attacking system. If we start getting really bullied, then we might panic a little bit. But it's the FA Cup semi-final. We can't play for a draw here. We need to play for the win. And, well, to start the game, it's been very, very even, although we've got a set piece to deal with here. Awana whips it in, and you can't let the ball bounce in the 6-yard box. It falls to Antunes, who scores, and I mean, I was hoping that we could get a little momentum builder. Just as a reminder, never beaten Chelsea. We've beaten them once on penalties. We've never beaten them in regular time, in a 90-minute match. So it is a tall order, but we have a set piece here. They've scored one against us. Leskinen takes it shot. GCL! Oh my word. Serreta crosses it. Turnbull. Imagine if GCL had scored that. What an insane effort. The short free kick taken. Chelsea with all their men in the box, and GCL, the Brazilian, just decided to have a go. Ox might be able to launch a throw-in from this position here. What can you do, Ox? Shvetsov tries to flick on, falls to GCL. Can he hit it this time? Of course he can. That first effort, it was just a sighter for him. That second one there, the main course, shall we say, only his 7th of the year. I say only. I feel like for a centre attacking mid, it's not the worst return in the world, especially with the attackers ahead of him. But this time, they're shot too hot to handle. Vial in goal for them. Gets a strong hand to it, but can't parry it over. And you know what? Screw playing defensive. We're going to go for it. We've got another set piece as well. Ox. Shvetsov knocks it down. GCL hits it again. He scored again. It's 2-1. What did we put in his cereal today? I don't mind this. This is very similar to the first goal. Big throw forward. Shvetsov using that aerial ability to nod it down. And GCL just ghosting in from the edge of the box, tucks it away into the bottom corner. We're 2-1 up. We're 2-1 up, everyone. It's been a battle of set pieces so far. They've scored from a corner. 2 throw-ins leading to ours. Boys, I'm very happy with this. Very happy with this. What a superb start. Shvetsov, why are you uninterested? Get it together, man. It's the FA Cup semi-final. Also, is it not at Wembley? Did they change the rules of the FA Cup? We're at home. Okay, well that makes it make more sense to play an attack. I swear the FA Cup semi-finals used to be at Wembley. Did that change? Is that a change that's happening in real life that I don't know about? This is the semi-final, right? I now need to check. This is the semi-final or not the quarter-final. Just to be 100% clear. Yeah, it is. Okay, well I guess they changed the FA Cup rule in real life and it's not come into effect yet. Maybe it was meant to happen this season. But previously, you would play the semi-finals at Wembley, and I know this because I've been to a few semi-finals of the FA Cup at Wembley. Okay, well now I feel better about the fact we started on attacking and we're maintaining it. Turnbull's not turned up yet, so you know what time it is. It's time for Charlie Brown. Leskinen's done okay, but he's feeling a little bit nervous, so we'll bring in Matasevic. One player who can take set pieces for another, which is quite a nice swap to have in our back pocket. And while Matasevic whips in, Charlie Brown falls to Shvetsov on the volley. What a finish by the Russian. We're 3-1 up. Are we about to make it to an FA Cup final? We've beaten them in the EFL Cup before. Matasevic, which is in Charlie Brown's challenged in the air, but it falls to Shvetsov. And on the volley, he continues his goal-scoring hot streak, the Russian. I am going to criticise the cameraman behind the goal there. He did not get a very good angle of the effort. We're 3-1 up. There's only 5 minutes left. Time is just trickling away. What a performance this has been in this match. What an incredible performance. 2 minutes left. I mean, if we concede now, squeaky bum time could commence. Moriba bringing the ball forward. Now with Tomori, who tries to get it in. Highland, though, dinks it forward. Can't get it over the defender. You thought for a second a counter-attack was to be sprung. It still could be. Can Charlie Brown get there? Of course he can, using his physicality. Look at him. He's a giant among men, is Charlie. To Andre, switched to Lazarus. Could we humiliate them? Could we get 4? Matasevic, Highland, switch the play. Lovely build-up play here. Ox, what can you do? Pulls it, Andre, hits it. Charlie Brown makes it 4. And I can say it with confidence, we're on our way to Wembley. What an incredible performance, and what a lovely goal to wrap it up. If you were going to criticise us for a reliance on set pieces on the first few, you certainly can't do it on that one. Andre, I think that was a shot rather than a pass, but Charlie Brown gets a toe on it to help it on its merry way. And well, que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. We're Town Town, and we're on our way to Wembley. We are into the FA Cup final, folks. So there will be an episode tomorrow, regardless of if we're still challenging, for a position in the league, because we might get to the final game of the year and everything be done. Anyway, you can see here we are due to receive £2.14 million. We're going to be taking on Manchester City. That is not an easy tie by any means. What is our record like against Man City? I mean, we beat them in the league earlier on this year, 1-0. It wasn't the most impressive of results. You'll notice here a load of new signings happening. Don't get overexcited. They are purely staff members. Okay, so we have played Manchester City 5 times. We've won once. We've won once, 1-0, and we've scored 2 goals in those 5 games. Okay, well, we're definitely not favourites, I think is what can be said there for tomorrow's cup final. You can see Agisiel, man of the match, a player who, signed for £9 million this year. I had quite high hopes for. Apparently he's not been doing well in training. I don't care if he's not doing well in training if he's going to play as well as that. You can see he is now natural at centre attacking mid as well. Has picked up the position, which might explain a slight decline in his overall ability. Not had the best of seasons by any means. His average ratings have actually been pretty poor, but if he can turn up in the big matches like that, I think he'll just go down as a cult hero. He could be our Origi, except he starts a load of games for us. But yeah, all these staff members you can see joining us are actually a load of new staff. So for example, we've got a new chief scout coming in, which is Callum Smithson. Look at him, 38 years old, from Leicester. This is a long-term addition as our chief scout. 20 judging player ability, 20 judging player potential, great judging player adaptability as well. We've got a few more scouts joining us as well, a few data analysts. I realised that I only had 1 of 4 data analyst spots filled, hence all the data analysts joining us. But yes, we're just basically filling up all the gaps that were in our staff, because I came over to the staff screen and realised that there were loads of vacancies, because it has just been scaled up with us being back in the Premier League, and I've not made the most of it. So I'm making the most of it now. Better late than never. In fact, if we go forward once more, I think actually most of the staff who have just joined us are the ones I was looking at. I don't think there's too many more, if any, to be joining us. But yeah, a load of new staff members. And now if we look at the staff screen, look at that. We now have the best scouting recruitment team in the league. I'm a genius. I mean, let's not toot our own horn too much. But it looks satisfying, doesn't it? We're simply the best, everything except sports science. So it's okay. I preferred physics to biology anyway, so I'm not too bothered there. But anyway, we've got 2 games to play, and then we're going to come back. We've got Chelsea to play again in the league today. Before then, Swansea and Southampton, 2 games we should be winning. Knowing my luck, I'll come back and we will have lost both. But that game against the side in blue from London is going to be big. They're going to want revenge away from home. And, well, next time I speak to you, we'll be down at Stamford Bridge. Let's go. Okay, folks, so we are down at Stamford Bridge. We are ready for the second game of today's episode, the second game against Chelsea. But before we get into it, we have played 2 games. Let's take a quick peek at them. And well, the first of these, a 7-2 win against Swansea City. They are bottom of the league. They're bottom for a reason, as we've discovered. A fantastic result. Great for our goal difference. With this result, we went up to 4th. You can see Charlie Brown coming in for Turnbull, who was out injured, grabbed 2 goals and an assist, so continuing his fine form. Unfortunately, despite 1 great result, we then threw all that hard work away. You can see we went on to draw 1-1 against Southampton. In this game, they took the lead on the break. Their only shot on target, nestling it in the bottom corner. Shvetsov replied not long after, and well, despite a sustained period of pressure towards the end of the game, we just couldn't find a break for them. With that slip-up and the fact that Liverpool won their games, this is how the league table looks. Now, we are officially qualified for the Europa League at this point. We are guaranteed a spot in that competition, which is absolutely superb. We have to win today to close the gap on Liverpool to 2 points. And even if we do that, we have Arsenal to end the year, and Liverpool, if we just have a quick look here, they are going to be taking on Crystal Palace at home, which, I mean, I don't want to say I expect Crystal Palace to do anything. I mean, they're in 9th, so maybe they could. But I feel like we've lost our grip here. If we'd beaten Southampton, we'd be in a much better position. In fact, you know, we'd be breathing right down the necks of Liverpool. It could have gone all the way down to goal difference. As things stand, with the 2 games we've got left of the year, Chelsea and Arsenal, it's a pretty big mountain to climb. But we're guaranteed 5th at this point, which is absolutely amazing. We're guaranteed Europa League football. And you know what? Given how this season's gone, it would be easy to be annoyed, I guess, at the lack of Champions League football that feels likely at this point. But at the same time, we finished 5th in the Premier League in our first year in the division. Absolutely unreal. Load of youngsters developing superbly. Let's try and give Chelsea another big game here, although I do feel like this is going to be a bit more difficult than the game we just played. You can see here, unfortunately, Lazarus picked up an injury in the game against... I think actually he got injured in the first game against Swansea. So he's on his road to recovery, but not fully fit. So we're going to slot Deacon in at right back. I am half tempted, you know, to pick up Deacon for £20 million if I can sign him for that much. His contract expires at the end of next year, so whilst we've got him on loan and we've got an agreement that we can buy him for £20 million, there's a small part of me that wonders maybe I should just wait until the summer where we could possibly get him even cheaper. But he's got a chance to show himself. Maticevic also coming in. Unfortunately for us, Andre has accumulated 15 yellow cards for the season across all English competitions, so he is suspended. I think it's only for 1 match, if I'm not mistaken. Indeed it is. So unfortunately, a player who I would really, really like to have is unavailable. In terms of the rest of the team, I'm going to bring back in Soretto. I've kind of still been jiggling around the defence quite a bit, but I do feel like I've got to keep giving the 19-year-old some game time. He's had his birthday in the last month. We've given him a big birthday cake, and well, hopefully he's going to reward us with a superb performance today. We're going to stay on the attacking formation as well, which might seem naive going away from home, but I don't know, we've just beaten them 4-1 playing this system. Yes, it's a slightly different task. Yes, it's going to be a challenge, but I want to see what we can do against Frank Lampard's men. I noticed they've got Mason Mount playing in their centre attacking midfield, which I guess we can have a quick look at. Do we want to take a look at it? Screw it, let's have a look at the opposition instructions here. So they've got Mason Mount here, who is 33 years old. I guess he spent his whole career at Chelsea. Indeed he has. In fact, you can see he's had some very good years, and then more recently, some not so very good years, but we're going to have to be wary of him. Mariba playing for them, definitely a player to keep an eye on. Top quality midfielder. Only 29 years old as well. One of the kind of younger real players, you know, in the database, and so he is still in his 20s, surprisingly, despite how far into the future we are. But anyway, let's get into this. We need a big performance. If we truly want to push Liverpool all the way to the end of the year, we need to win here. The odds are very much against us. We've had such a great season to go this far. And, well, let's just try and keep it going. Of course, regardless of the result today, we have got a cup final to look forward to next episode. And, well, Turnbull's through. And what an insane save by the keeper. 20 seconds in and we're knocking on the door already saying, hey, Frank, let us in. Couldn't finish it on that occasion, although another highlight with just 2 minutes gone. And while we're looking to continue this match, I suppose, how we ended the previous game against Chelsea. Ball switched to Deacon here, out at right back. Can he get the ball in? He can. Oh my word. Oh my word. Yeah, I mean, GCL there, what an insane volley. It was Di Canio-esque. I know that's an adjective I use far too much, but it was one of those ones, wasn't it? A little bicycle kick. Kind of wound himself up for the finish. Deacon did well actually to squeeze in a ball, and well, GCL finding his way in. The technique on that volley, satisfying to watch, to say the least. We're a goal up here, and well, we have started this game how we started the last game against Chelsea. We've got that goal. Now let's try and keep that momentum going. I want to smother them in this game. 64% of possession. We've had all the shots early on, but with 10 minutes gone, there's a highlight in our half, and we could be called into some defensive action here. Mariba, edge of the box, hits it. Oh my word. I mean, it's pretty good, isn't it? I can't even be mad. What an insane effort by the Spaniard. His 15th goal of the season from midfield. I can see why he scored so many with a long shot like that. We afforded him a little bit of room, but make no mistake, Morrigan can't take any blame. Our defence, I guess, gave him a bit too much space to manoeuvre with him, but what an incredible strike. And suddenly that goal lead and that momentum just sucked out like a black hole and spat out in our faces. We have put all this effort in and it's just not quite worked early on. Chelsea with another set piece as well, which is concerning. Morgan with the highest pass completion in the team is going to roll it out, and a mental reset is really required from the players here. Had a bit of that momentum taken away from us. How can we respond now? I will say one thing we've really done well this year is fought until the end of matches. Oh my word, he's done it again! He's done it again. Do you see how? He's become natural at centre attacking mid, and suddenly everything he touches turns to wine. You've heard of Jesus turning water to wine. GCL can turn off milk into wine. He does magic. He does magic. I mean, look at this. Oh, I mean, what can you say? What can you say? He's just suddenly decided, you know what, boys, maybe I've not done enough this year. Maybe I should score a few goals in the games where it really matters. And, he didn't do that against Southampton, unfortunately, but he's done it here on the big stage. And you know what? I have to applaud him for it. What an incredible effort. Right, let's try and defend this lead a little bit better than we have done the previous lead that we acquired. Thomas back post free. Could get an effort away. Moriba. Why did I say Moriba? I meant Morgan. Have we got Moriba in goal for us now? It's all going to my head. I'm panicking. Can't blame my players for panicking either. We need to get this ball away. Arezzo. Now with it. Don't let him turning at the ball in. Matasevic. That's a bit of a naughty tackle, isn't it? That's a yellow card, I think, Matasevic. You naughty, naughty boy. Go to your bedroom and think about what you've done. 5 minutes left in the half. This could be in a slightly dangerous area here. We need to defend this well. Mason Mount over the ball. Whips it back post. It's gone over absolutely everyone and out for a throw-in. I have no idea why we were shown that as a highlight. A good first half. We're going into it at 2-1 up. And I think GCL just deserves all the plaudits, doesn't he, right now? He has just gone supernova for us in this game. He's only got 15 long shots. You would not know that based off today's episode. He has been top draw for us. Anyway, we've got another set piece to deal with here. Potentially a throw-in out on the far side for Chelsea. Now with Moriba, their goal scorer. Plays through Galagos. Left winger. Gives it to Arezzo. This is nerve-wracking, isn't it? We need to do some defending. Superb little tackle to avoid the cross coming in. But it comes back into Bittner, who, of course, is that incredible German striker that Chelsea have. He's looking uninterested. Mariba's now gone off with an injury. I mean, maybe that can help us out a little. A few more bookings than I would like to see. I'm going to take off Matasevic, I think, for Alvarez in the midfield. And well, we need to win this game. A draw is not enough as Bastos is threaded through. Hits it. Oh, my word, Morgan. I mean, Morgan's shot stopping is unparalleled. He makes saves that I never saw Smoljo make for us. And obviously, they're different keepers. Morgan is just an absolute titan of a shot stopper. But he does win us points. I mean, he's on a 7.3 rating. The game recognises he's doing well. Soretta hits the woodwork. Oh, my word. Did that not go over the line? I guess not. That was a chance from nowhere, wasn't it? A free kick hit in quickly. And Soretta at the back post leapt high and leapt and hit the woodwork. Time trickling away here. I'm going to take off Turnbull for Charlie Brown. One last sub. What do I want to do? You know what? I'm going to bring in Lazarus. And I'm going to bring him in for Deacon, who's on a booking. He's had a great game, Deacon. But he's tiring a little bit. Well, we have a set piece. Morgan collects it. Called into a lot of defensive action, it feels like, late on in this game. Big throw out to Ox at left back. What can he now do? Charging like a bull on this left-hand side to Gisiel, to Alvarez, fresh off the bench. Now with Ox, tries to get through Shvetsov. Some really nice, crisp passing there. Just finding gaps in the Chelsea defence. But, well, speaking of gaps, Chelsea have found some of our defence. Gautier's through here. Can he get a shot away? He can. But Morgan stands there, catches the ball and screams, "You shall not pass." Chelsea struggling to find a way through against our goalkeeper. He has been huge in this game. There's 3 minutes left. Could we be about to get back-to-back wins against the London side? Ball whipped in. Soretta heads it out. Gisiel, I mean, if we can score now, it's game over at 3-1. Shvetsov, he's through. He's got the pace. Can he finish it? No, he cannot. Hits it high and wide. That was not at all handsome. 3 minutes left and we're still holding on in this game. I could have gone more defensive. It's too late for that now. I feel like we've done well with the ball going forward that, I'd rather see us continue to play the way we're playing rather than turtle up and be called into even more defensive action. Ox here, skips past one. Held up in the end, but gives it to Highland. He's going to play it back to Soretta now, who goes all the way back to Morrigan. 3 minutes left of this game, and we're knocking the ball around nicely still. Shvetsov to GCL. I mean, he's going to want his hat-trick. Could he get it? No, he lays it to... Why did he not do a long shot there? Now with Chelsea, he's given the ball away in a critical position. Bittner bringing the ball forward here. So many Chelsea players in the attack. Thomas whips it back post, and Ryan Fry is there. And he hits it home. I mean, from one great opportunity one end to a great opportunity that Chelsea take at the other. Just overwhelmed on this right-hand side, really. Thomas whipped a ball in superbly, and Ryan Fry just pops up when it matters to make it 2-2. And with that, the slim thread of hope that we perhaps had of Champions League football is gone. Unless, hold the phone, corner, whipped in, Soretta heads it over. That probably was the last real opportunity of this game. There is 10 seconds left. There might be a little bit extra thrown into the mix in terms of time because of the goal, but it does feel like this game is done now unless we can do something here. Leskinen to GCL. We are now done with the 5 minutes. Chelsea deal with it again, although Brown hits it. Charlie Brown, you big, big boy. We do not give up. We do not quit in our games. We've done this so much this year. I dread to think how many last-minute goals Charlie Brown's got, but it's 2 or 3 at the very least, and across the squad we've had them again and again. What that back pass is to Svetsov, I don't really know. I'm not going to complain. Brown takes it away, 11 for the year. What a super sub he's ended up being. We get the win with that 96th minute goal. And I'm probably going to get a noise complaint from my neighbours, and I'm sorry if I've blown your ears out, but what an insane way to force this season down to the wire. We will go into the final game of the year knowing that a win against Arsenal, whilst it's not guaranteed to be enough, it would at least put the pressure on Liverpool to go and get a result. 2 crazy wins against Chelsea today, one slightly more comfortable than the other. GCL again with a player of the match performance. And after all of that, I think I need to go lay down. Tomorrow's episode's going to be crazy, folks. 2 games. The final league game and the FA Cup final. I'm excited. You should be too. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I feel emotionally. I'm going to go lay down. I'll see you tomorrow. What a crazy way to force this season down to the wire. The Champions League dream lives on. I'll see you soon. I'm out.